There are a few things you can look for to tell whether or not you have water damage in your kitchen, especially the kitchen cabinets. Now, this is actually a warped toe kick board, the lower section of the kitchen cabinet, which would receive most of the damage. The upper section drains the water off safely to the lower section and rarely gets as much damage as the lower section. So the toe kicks, any type of discoloration, any types of staining, any mold, mildew, funguses growing, anything that looks out of the ordinary should be checked. This would be your first sign. Second sign would be any kitchen cabinet hinges that are starting to corrode. You can see right here that this hinge is probably made out of brass and is actually turning green. This should be a very important sign. This would be something that most of us aren't going to notice, but if you do notice it, you should try and figure out why the hinge is changing color. And most of the time, it's going to have something to do with moisture. Even if you can't see a leak, any water leaking onto the hinge itself, you could still imagine moisture accumulating underneath the kitchen sink. It's trying to get out, it's trying to evaporate, it needs a place to go. And then, of course, condensation or moisture accumulating on the doors, the cabinets themselves, the frames, and of course the hinges, leading to rust. Next up on the list is this is going to be this is the biggest area where most of the damage will occur, and that will be underneath the kitchen sink. If you have any leak anywhere from the water supply pipes or the water drain pipes, sink connections, anything, you will end up with some type of discoloration, spotting, and even raised spots, depending upon the type of wood that the cabinets are made out of. For instance, this cabinet is made out of a particle board, and the particle board is just a bunch of glued sawdust glued together, and when it gets wet it usually expands and certain sections will raise, and it's obviously been painted a couple of times to and you can paint over the damage, but you really aren't going to know for sure what's underneath. Is there any mold growing underneath the cabinet? And of course, I'm not suggesting that you remove a cabinet to see if there's mold growing underneath because you have a water leak. However, you should keep in mind that these are signs that you either do or did have a problem, and that's the main reason why I made this video. Any discoloration, any moisture, any corrosion, anything that looks out of the ordinary should be addressed. Find out what it is, what's actually causing the problem, and fix it.